The lights in the studio seemed unusually bright that night, as if they somehow sensed the intensity simmering beneath the surface. Even the cameraman whispered that something big was coming. Viewers at home felt it too, the kind of tingling anticipation that settles in your chest when the air around you begins to shake with energy. Millions were tuned in across the country, all waiting for a debate segment that had been hyped for days. When Senator John Kennedy stepped onto the stage, wearing his familiar half-smile that walked the line between polite charm and razor-sharp instinct, the audience erupted in applause. Moments later, Vice President Kamala Harris appeared, confident and composed, her expression projecting the image of a seasoned leader expecting a standard night of political sparring. But what happened next was anything but ordinary. The first few exchanges went smoothly, almost forgettably. Then Kennedy leaned forward with a question wrapped in disarming simplicity, so simple, in fact, that the audience seemed to pause mid-breath. It was a legal question framed like a casual chat between neighbors, but beneath the softness was steel. Harris responded quickly, her voice steady at first, but halfway through, something shifted. She stumbled just slightly, just enough for millions of people to sense it. A ripple of unease spread across the room. It wasn't loud, but it was unmistakable. Harris tried again, but her words tangled. The cameras caught the flicker of frustration in her eyes, the kind that stings more when you know you're fully capable but the moment simply refuses to cooperate. This wasn't about intelligence or capability, it was about pressure. Raw, unrelenting pressure, the kind that grinds on you even when you're one of the highest-ranking officials in the nation. And Kennedy, sensing a strategic moment, pressed forward, and not cruelly, but relentlessly. His follow-up questions tightened like a net, each one short, clear, and surprisingly demanding despite their simplicity. The room grew quieter. The moderator shifted uncomfortably. Even the audience members who supported her felt protective tension stir inside them. Everyone has had moments, public or private, where their brain simply refuses to hand them the right words, and now Harris was having one of those moments in front of millions. Commentators would later debate whether Kennedy genuinely sought clarity or whether he was executing a calculated political maneuver. But in that moment, the optics were unmistakable. Harris's attempts to regain her footing only seemed to intensify the spotlight on her struggle. The silence between each answer grew heavier, thicker, more personal. Some viewers couldn't look away. Others whispered to their televisions as if rooting for her to push through. When Kennedy launched his final question of the sequence, he is short, direct, almost gently. The tension in the room snapped tight. Harris paused, searching for the precise phrasing, but instead found herself circling the same uncertain terrain. The viewers could feel the emotional weight of that hesitation. It was the kind of moment that a political opponent might label humiliating but that regular people recognized as painfully human. But then something surprising happened. Harris inhaled deeply, and not the polished, practiced breath of a rehearsed speaker, but the kind a person takes when they're trying to steady themselves after feeling shaken. She lifted her chin. Her answer didn't magically resolve the earlier fumbles, but it came from a place of grounded authenticity. She acknowledged the complexity, reframed the broader implications, and for the first time that night spoke with the rawness of someone determined to push forward no matter how rough the moment had been. The tension began to thaw. Kennedy nodded slightly, not in victory, but in acknowledgement. The room softened. People watching could feel the shift, a reminder that debates aren't just about winners and losers, but about how leaders handle turbulence when the world is watching. When the segment ended, the aftermath exploded online. Clips circulated within minutes. Some commentators focused on the stumble, looping the awkward silence again and again as if it were the entire story. Others focused on Kennedy's unyielding questioning style, praising it or criticizing it depending on their political lens. But beneath the noise was a quieter conversation, a one about resilience, pressure, and the humanity that flickers through even the highest levels of power. Harris walked off stage with the weight of a rough public moment hanging over her, but also with the quiet pride of knowing she didn't retreat under fire. Kennedy exited with the satisfaction of a skilled political craftsman who had executed a tough line of questioning with precision. Both left carrying something the audience could relate to, the reminder that strength doesn't always look like perfection. Sometimes it looks like stumbling, catching yourself, and continuing anyway. And maybe that was the real story of the night, and not a humiliation, not a triumph, but a deeply human moment played out under unforgiving lights. A moment that revealed how even leaders who stand at the pinnacle of power can face challenges that rattle them, humble them, and ultimately push them to rise stronger. It was a night that America wouldn't forget anytime soon, not because of who won, but because of what it revealed about courage, pressure, and the complicated humanity inside every public figure.